Julie Delucca Collins. It is so good to see you. And naturally, I thought of you when I was like, okay, who can we ask for? Damn, I wish somebody would have told me that. And I thought of you. So I'm so happy you're here and welcome.
Thank you, Patty, for having me. I have to say, I am honored to be with you today. And I love the topic that we're talking about because I always go back and say, oh, I wish someone would have told me that.
Yes, yes, yes. I love that this topic is resonating for so many. So before we get started, tell us a little bit about you, your zone of genius, and what it is that you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I am a business and life strategy coach, and I help individuals build the life and business they want and to be the CEO of their life and business because we tend to be a slave to the work. We tend to be a slave to the priorities of others. But I want people to take charge and to be confident in running the type of life and business that serves them and gives them the freedom that they want. And I do that through teaching them tiny habits because I'm a tiny habit certified coach. And I know that that has made a big impact for myself.
Excellent, excellent. And why do you think your work really matters?
Well, here is the thing. I think confidence is something that everybody thinks that some people have and some others don't. The reality is that confidence just doesn't happen naturally. Confidence comes from us doing the work and trying, failing, figuring out how to do it better. And for that reason, I know that it matters because many of us go around beating ourselves up because we don't think we're enough. And we see others and we use that comparisonitis to look at what everybody else is doing and we're not. But ultimately, if you learn to swim in your lane, if you learn to just do the things that you are good at and hone in your skills, and I like to say consistent action gives you traction.
Yeah,
And
love
that's
that.
why it matters because when you do the things and you keep showing up, even if it's 1% better than before, you're going to feel more confident. And
Yeah.
on the days that you don't are not motivated, it's going to be just automated for you when you don't have that motivation.
Okay, so everybody needs you basically if they're growing a business. That's awesome. I
You're
love it.
so sweet. Thank you.
And on that point, okay, so macro level, you've been in this game for a while now, and I'd love
Mhm.
to get your take is like at a macro level, what do you think is one big sticking point for people who are looking to get their business truly off the ground?
Well, you're going to think I'm crazy, but it goes back to what I just said. People, when they don't get their business off the ground, is because they're not running their business like a business. And I'm going to tell you that this was a big mistake I made. And you would think that someone that was in corporate, was successful, was in the C-suite before, would start their own business and go with flying colors. But the reality is that we are not doing that as business owners. People have big dreams, have hopes, have great talents. And then when they get started in their business, they don't run it like a business. They're running it as a hobby and they're not investing in the way that they should. And it's not just a money investment, but it's a time and a talent investment that they need to make.
Beautiful. Excellent, excellent perspective there. All right, without further ado, let's transition over to the damn, I wish somebody would have told me that tips. What's your first tip in no particular order?
Well, in no particular order is number one is you want to go ahead and create key indicators, key metrics. You would be surprised. One of the first things that I hear from individuals when they're starting a business and they're like, oh, I'm going to be a fill in the blank or I'm going to launch a product. They don't begin, number one, with goals. And if they have sort of a goal, it's more like a dream or an aspiration. They're not writing it down. And when we don't write it down, there's nothing to measure. And that's really, if you look at big companies, they're looking at specific metrics. They're looking at goals and they say, we want to hit this for the first quarter, this for the second quarter. And then they work toward that and they assess and recalibrate based on that. And many times, many entrepreneurs don't even start with a goal. They start to focus on things that, are nice to have, not neat to have, but those metrics and key performance indicators are really important because that's what keeps you going and you must continue to do on an ongoing basis. And as a CEO of your business, it's important to know what matters.
Oh my God, you're singing my song. I love it. I love it. like I want to kick my legs and I'm like, I love it. Like that Molly Shannon and
I just had this mental picture of you jumping up and
like, I
down,
love
doing
it.
that.
You know how she does that with the
Yeah.
like, oh, it's so funny. Oh my God. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Say it louder for the people in the back.
This is why
Um,
we get along too, because we're really aligned in this perspective.
oh my God, totally. Okay. Excited to hear what is your tip number two?
Okay, you're not going to be surprised I'm going to say that. The second tip, just like you need to have your goals written down and then have these key metrics that you measure on a daily, weekly, monthly basis or quarterly, you want to make sure that you start to standardize your processes. You have to have standard operating
Yeah.
procedures,
Yeah.
right? Um, if you start as a solopreneur and you are the one who is doing everything, it is very important that in the very beginning, write down what you did. One, it's going to save you time. Number two, as you start to grow, and if you're doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to find ways of making it easier. And then as you bring in additional team members, or you're starting to delegate, or you're starting to outsource, you don't have to spend a lot of time training people on how to do what you do already because you have that process, you have that procedure. I have a lot of entrepreneurs that kind of fly by the seat of their pants. And honestly, I would have that tendency. Some of my tendencies and my personality, I like to kind of just be very, fun and, oh, let me just do this and spontaneous. But I learned when I was in corporate that you needed to have those processes. You needed to have an operations manual. And those are the same things that I wish someone would have told me when I first started. That just like I did at corporate, I needed to do it here. And when I started to standardize the processes, okay, well, this is what we do on Monday. This is how we send emails. This is how we do this. Then it becomes much easier to replicate and to also onboard and to grow. That allows you to grow.
So true. Very true. I wasted a lot of time not doing that initially because I'm like, only I could get it done. Right. So that's like one of the gaps that happens where you think, I'll just do it. You're literally wasting time. So very, very good.
Yeah, for sure. We think like, oh my gosh, it's going to take me a long time to explain that. It might, but if you are doing the thing and you're writing down what the process is, and here's the one thing that I just started doing that's really cool. I actually, on my Google Drive, I started to create a document that has, all the different SOPs or standard operating procedures, but I've also videotaped myself doing it so that if someone can go in and watch it, it's not just me writing it out. It's actually, there's a little video that walks them through how to do it. So that's been life-changing for sure.
Gold. All right. And your last tip.
Okay. And this is the tip that I think a lot of people, and really following up on what we just said, we need to learn to either do what you do best and delegate the rest. A CEO is not going to be running around making the calls. It's not going to be the person who is in charge of marketing, is not going to be the person who does the financials or whatever it might be, right? A CEO surrounds themselves. One, they have typically a board of directors that they go to. They have this board of directors that they can consult with. They kind of bounce things and think strategically in a very big way. They also have a team of executives that are the best in their field. A CEO surrounds themselves because they know that their bandwidth, number one, there's only 24 hours in the day. And they're not going to be doing everything. They're going to say, hey, we're going to have a marketing campaign. And if you don't know how to do it, there's a lot of different ways to leverage the skills of somebody else. Partner, you can barter, you can do so many different things that allow you to work in your zone of genius. Because honestly, if I were the one who is, for instance, we have a podcast, and if I were the one who was editing the podcast, we wouldn't have a podcast. That's not my zone of genius.
Right.
I have someone that does that who, my husband is the one who's a producer and editor of the show. The same thing with marketing. I know some marketing, but when I'm getting ready to really do something big, I consult or I leverage the support or the services of somebody else. And many entrepreneurs don't do that. they want to do it all, or they don't say, I need a coach. I need somebody that can help me kind of give me that perspective or that feedback and really allow me to be better at what I'm doing and delivering what I'm good at.
Oh, so good. There's such a just as an I really appreciate everything you said because it's coming from such a level of maturity in business acumen that is just so clear. So what we're really talking about is like beyond the tactics and all this other stuff. These are foundational business principles that when the way that you said everything that you said, Julie, has so much of an indication of like see yourself as that CEO.
Mhm.
Right? That's really, it's like this call to adventure, like see yourself in a bigger way. You're building a business. So show up in that way.
Mhm.
And so I'm just going to repeat the tips. Number one, create those key performance metrics, right? The goals and writing them down and whatnot. Number two, create those SOPs. So the things that you're doing more than once that are not in your zone of genius, create those standard operating procedures so that you can delegate. And then number three, do what you do best and delegate the rest. I
Yeah.
love that. So those are brilliant and so very needed and just really actionable. So I really appreciate you sharing that. So tell the viewer, the listener, how people can work with you. You have so much to offer.
Thank you. So there's a couple different ways in which individuals can work with me. Number one is there's three very distinct areas that you may be at with when it comes to your business. You may be either building it, growing it, or scaling it. So I have three different programs, and typically people who are just starting out will typically be in that build it phase. And that's where I offer group coaching. It really helps you in that beginning phase. What do you need to do? Sometimes I spend a lot of time trying to make a logo. That's nice to have, but it's not a must have. And
Mhm.
really being able to proof of concept, be able to understand what your offer, who are you going to offer it, be able to create that brand, not visual brand with a logo, but really what your intentionality of offers are, how to price yourself, all of that goes into the dream it and build it. And then you have the grow it. This is for the entrepreneur who has been in business, has made some sales, is bringing in some clients, but they really are not consistent. They kind of have that feast or famine process. Some months are great. Some it's like, oh, where do I get clients from? And you start to really become afraid and you kind of are stuck. So in that process, in the grow it phase with me, I really take you through some more in-depth coaching. It is still a group coaching, or you can do a one-to-one. And then with the scale it, you can do a one-to-one. And the nice thing about scaling it is that you get to attend all my master classes. You get all the group coaching as well. You can attend those. You can attend all of the events in which I have experts in their field come and speak to us as well. So those are the three ways in which people can be a client of mine or collaborate with me. I also love to really collaborate with people through my radio show. And I have resident experts that are part of our mastermind that are people who pour into your community. So if you come into my universe, you will get to leverage and spend time with my resident experts on the radio show as well.
Excellent. And what's the domain or the URL? How do
Oh
people
my
find out
gosh.
more about that?
Easy. GoConfidentlyCoaching.com.
GoConfidentlyCoaching.com. That's the stomping grounds for all things Julie Delucca Collins.
That's
Thank
right.
you so much. Right under this video, you're going to find her information as well. I encourage you to connect with Julie. She's awesome. She's a real deal. Julie, thank you so much. Really appreciate your
Thank you.
perspective.
Patty, thank you so much for having me. And you are making a big impact in the world. I am so glad that we crossed paths
Yeah.
because I love the work that you're doing.
Thank you. Likewise, we're in the same space and we're just adding
That's
back
right.
value. So I'm so pumped because the world is our oyster, right? And having these types of cross collaborations, I get really amped up. So really
Me
cool
too.
to have you on the show. Thank you again.
Thank you. Don't forget, go confidently.